From your Weather Authority, Chief Meteorologist Wayne Hart.
Our fourth heat wave of the summer rolls on day 10 with 1 to 2 more days to go. Tomorrow, the last of the very hot, very humid days, and Thursday is a transition to much nicer weather, which will really arrive in earnest on Friday, and we need it. Not only have we had 10 consecutive days in the 90s, check this out. We have had 18 consecutive days of high humidity. That's dew points above 70, and that's the longest stretch in 23 years. That one lasted 20 days, and this one will also likely end at the 20-day mark. Today was not quite as hot as yesterday. Temperatures and dew points were down a little bit, 73 the low, 93 the high this afternoon, and most of the area was 90 to 95 with the heat index around 105 because those dew points were more in the mid-70s as opposed to around 80. And that drove the heat index yesterday to between 110 and 115. Now, I do think tomorrow will be a little hotter than today, and then finally that relief begins to arrive on Thursday. The extreme heat warning goes through tomorrow. We may need still a heat advisory for parts of western Kentucky on Thursday, as that cooler air won't quite get into our southern counties until later in the day. Now, shifting gears, a major earthquake occurred a few hours ago off the far east coast of Russia, the Kamchatka Peninsula. 8.8 is the magnitude. They just upgraded this in the last hour, and if that holds, it would be one of the top 10 strongest earthquakes on record in the history of the Earth, going back to 1900. And you can see the epicenter was right there. Now, Japan, just down to the south, they're under a tsunami warning. We got a live view right now from Hiro, Japan, where they are watching the coast very carefully for the arrival of the tsunami. I'm not quite sure when it's expected to hit Japan, but Hawaii is under a tsunami warning, expected to arrive in about 2 hours, about 12:10 our time, and they are evacuating all the coastal areas in Hawaii, and they're telling people who are on the coast and can evacuate to get up to at least the 4th floor of buildings on the coast of Hawaii, as a very significant destructive tsunami is expected to go across the Pacific. West coast of the U.S., it's just an advisory right now. It doesn't look it's going to be too bad for California up through Oregon, Washington, though Alaska could have some bigger issues, especially as you get into the western Aleutian Islands. All right, now let's head back to the maps here and get back to home, because we still have a lot to talk about here locally with the heat and then the transition to some much better weather. A quiet night, no storms tonight, just false returns around the radar. We need some rain. You can see the 1 week rainfall amounts where you don't see any color. That's less than 1/10 of an inch of rain. That's the case now. Evansville, Henderson, not so much in our eastern counties. And what's coming our way is not all that heavy, but we do have some scattered showers and thunder showers for late tomorrow night and Thursday. A quiet, very warm evening there on the east side. The temperature still at 81 over a steamy dew point of 76. There's no wind, and temperatures now generally in the low 80s will wind up in the low to mid 70s by daybreak tomorrow morning. That heat dome still sitting right over top of us, and it will be there for one more day, and then it will finally break down tomorrow night and allow that cold front to move in from the northwest. And as the first wave of storms approaches, isolated damaging wind gusts can't be ruled out in our northern counties. Most of the models, though, fizzle a lot of that storminess before it even gets into our area. And you'll see that here on Future Tracker. Tomorrow should be a lot like today, partly cloudy. It'll be dry, very hot, very humid, probably a little hotter than today. Highs mid to upper 90s. That heat index up around 105 to 110, forecasting 96 in the Evansville metro. Still very warm tomorrow night. Some scattered thunder showers may try to make a run at us, but the model kind of dissipates those before they have a chance to really get in here. And then much of tomorrow night is quiet until around daybreak Thursday morning. A few storms there in our northern counties. That's the cold front coming through, but it's going to be a slow process. Highs north of the river, 85 to 90. Southern half, though, still 90 to 95 and very humid. So we may still have a heat advisory for our southern counties. But finally, the front will clear the area Thursday night. And after a few clouds early Friday, we clear out, and both the temperatures and humidity will be down on Friday afternoon. So overnight tonight, very warm, mid-70s. One more very hot, very humid day tomorrow, mid to upper 90s, feeling like 105 to 110. And then upper 80s to low 90s Thursday as a scattered thunder shower still move through, still very humid. And then finally Friday, both the temperatures and humidity are down, skies are clear, and a delightful first weekend of August. Highs in the mid 80s, 64. That'll be the coolest since the 11th of June. So a great weekend to get out and finally enjoy.
That sounds great. Thank you, Wayne.